If you're a working dog, like you need a job. You can't be a border collie stuck behind a laptop all day. You're gonna go crazy, start chewing on the couch. Humans are problem-solving machines, but the dark side of that is you can become a problem-seeking machine, problem-creating machine. If you don't very explicitly, consciously engineer suffering, there is, I think, an innate push to manifest it subconsciously while it seeps through the edges. And that might take the form of, what's been your experience?
With happiness and travel in the world?
Happiness in other places. I mean, some of the happiest people I've ever met have been, two come to mind. Ethiopians in the Tigray area, which is like, I don't think you can even travel there right now. Dirt poor in villages, and Shangaan people in South Africa also. I mean, not quite as destitute, but very rough situation, displaced people.
I would say, and this is just my perception,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, minus the war-torn countries that I've been to a lot of third world, countries in extreme poverty. I have to say that I think that the countries in poverty seem to be more happy
Yeah.
than we are here at the U.S., who have literally every fucking thing we can think of at our fingertips.
All right, so if I'm gonna armchair quarterback this, which why not, since I'm sitting in an armchair, I would say I think that having everything is part of the recipe for dissatisfaction, right? You start fearing having those things taken away. I do think your level of entitlement goes up. And there's a great book by Sebastian Junger called Tribe. I really recommend everyone read this. And Sebastian has been through some shit.
That's about PTSD, and he wrote a book on PTSD. I don't know if it's called Tribe. I know who this is.
Yeah, Tribe, Sebastian Junger.
It's about veterans, I believe.
It includes a lot of discussion of veterans. Tribe really talks about social cohesion, but if you look at, for instance, I think the example, there are a number of examples he gave, but looking at World War II bombing in the UK and how admittances to hospitals, now there are a number of different ways you could explain this, but effectively the incidence of mental illness, suicide, etc., all seem to plummet while the city's being bombed. What's going on there? And you see a similar pattern in other places. Well, I think that when you have seemingly everything, you, by default, almost necessarily can easily end up majoring in minor things, right? Because you don't have any major problem to deal with. But humans love having problems and solving problems. Right? In order to solve problems, you have to have problems. So I think humans are problem-solving machines, but the dark side of that is you can become a problem-seeking machine, problem-creating machine. So these small things take on the proportion of something big, right? It's kind of like, I'm sure a lot of people have had the experience where it's just like, there's some old cat lady in the neighborhood who's part of the HOA, and man, is she just a pain in the balls. Like, she's just like okay, so-and-so didn't put out the recycling bin, so-and-so didn't whatever. It's because she doesn't have anything else to do that is bigger, right? That is kind of forcing her hand. So if you're really way up on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think it's easy to become more sensitive to slight turbulence in life, which is also part of the reason for practicing not just minimalism, not just necessarily poverty, but like subjecting yourself to shared privation, right? Like the things I do with friends are definitely type 2 fun, maybe type 3 fun, right? It's like, sure, okay, we might do like a ski touring trip. That's mostly suffering. It's like, yeah, you're going to spend an hour and a half going up the hill for 6 turns down. Like, if you just want to ski, that's a terrible way to do it. But you get through that experience. You're stuck in a snowstorm. It's white out. I'm not, by the way, suggesting that everyone do this. There are scaled down versions of it. But
It creates a bond.
it creates a
Right?
bond.
It creates a bond because you have overcome some type of adversity.
Exactly. So in a world or in an environment that doesn't offer you those things, and by the way, there are lots of reasons why you would want a more comfortable experience. I'm not saying go move to Sierra Leone, right? So like I'm incredibly grateful for just this number of miracles, effectively, that ended up with me being born here, having the opportunities, etc. Right, hugely beyond grateful. I do not take it for granted, and I do think that in the absence of real environmental stressors, we are built to overcome and adapt to stress. And there's a book called The Comfort Crisis, I believe, that really delves into this. But it's like there is a great argument to be made for engineering certain stress into your life, including physical stress. And
I think veterans are amazing at that.
yeah,
I'm amazing at that. So,
yeah. I should say also, I mean, obviously, multitudes more veterans than I do, but a couple of my best friends are vets. And I think that if you don't very explicitly, consciously engineer suffering, it sounds strange to put it that way, but it really is, like adversity, suffering, stress into your life, there is, I think, an innate push to manifest it subconsciously while it seeps through the edges. And that might take the form of slow burn workaholism, right? It might take the form of certain types of self-sabotage. It might take the form of blow-ups and arguments with your wife. It might take the form of fill in the blank. And I have just found it so incredibly, and I've seen this too in a lot of my listeners and readers over decades. It's like when you engineer in periods of stress, some of those other things just resolve themselves in an unexpected way. It's not always the case. I mean, you still need to be able to talk to your wife, but it's like if you're a working dog, like you need a job, right? You can't be a border collie stuck behind a laptop all day. You're gonna go crazy, start chewing on the couch.
are you happy?
I feel like I am the happiest. I mean, we could definitely pull apart that term and what it means, but I would say I am the most at peace. That's more my goal than happiness, I would say.
You're reluctant to say that you're happy.
Well, I feel like I'm reluctant to say happy because I'm such a stickler. It could be the OCD kicking in, but for terms, right? When people are like, I just want to be successful, I'm like, let's talk about that. Very carefully, right? When people get into fights about God, I'm like, you guys talking about the same thing? Like, let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. I am very happy right now. I have great relationships. I have, taking care of people I care about, doing meaningful work, very happy. But I think happiness comes and goes. So looking for a steady state of smiles, I think is a fool's errand because you're going to be disappointed. And if we come back to the sort of, let's say, long-term durable happiness is reality minus expectations. If my expectation is I'm never going to have hard days, I'm never going to have moments of self-loathing, then in the long term, I think I'm handicapping my peace of mind. Does that make any sense? For instance, right? I can give a lot of examples of this. If you're trying to learn a language, which I think people can become, let's just say native English speakers, conversationally fluent in a bunch of languages in like 8 to 12 weeks. If they really dedicated themselves, there's no magic trick involved. Like there's a very methodical way to do it. I mean, look at the Defense Language Institute in Monterey. Like the stuff they can do is incredible with language instruction. They're very interested in bioelectric medicine too, by the way, potentially as an augment. But if you're going to learn a language, if you expect your progress to look like this, right? Weight training, same thing. Skill acquisition, it's going to be lumpy, right? You're going to have predictable setbacks. It's like, okay, you memorized 100 phrases, fantastic, or 100 words. Man, you're going to be making rocket-like progress. But as soon as you start introducing a little more complicated grammar, which you need to do to make it for the long game, you're going to feel like you're getting worse. Right? Your ability to juggle those balls is going to take time for adaptation, and you're going to get worse. Boom, 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 and then up and then down, and then maybe there's more of a plateau. And if you know these in advance, you can kind of plan for them, right? In the service of the long-term goal of being fluent in the language. But if you have a teacher who's trying to do the right thing and they tell you everything's going to be great, just one step in front of the other, slow and steady wins the race, and you expect it to be this linear progression, you're going to get crushed as soon as you suffer a setback. And I feel like psychologically, this is where stoicism is such an incredible arrow in the quiver. It's just expecting people to be like Marcus Aurelius meditations, like effectively, like when you go out, like expect people to be insolent and rude, expect people to disappoint you, expect A, B, and C. And there's a thin line between that and just being pessimistic or nihilistic, right? But
I think you're just talking about drive, personal drive. I mean, if it was easy and the incline was like this, said it 1,000 times, everybody would fucking do it.
Yeah. Well, right.
Then you hit a setback and 75% of the people fucking quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the drive keeps the 25% going.
Totally. And I think that there's just like baseline drive. It's like, okay, what kind of engine do you have? And then there's how do you drive the car? And it's almost like rally racing. Like I did a little bit of training in rally racing, which is incredibly dangerous, but also.
No shit.
Yeah.
The whole team here is going to the.
Okay.
Where'd you go to rally racing school?
I went to New Hampshire.
Dude.
Yeah.
You went to O'Neill.
I went to O'Neill.
Fucking awesome. I went to O'Neill.
He's great. He's amazing.
I love that school.
Hilarious. So I went to O'Neill, as you know, pretty risky endeavor. What do you do? Okay, what does that look like? Well, you have a navigator. In the case of your own life, like you are both the driver and the navigator. And are you going to take a rally course race at high speed without studying the course? Fuck no. You need to know if it's like right 3 or right 1, right? Or you're going to hit a tree, because you need to plan for all of these subtleties of the course in advance. So all I'm saying is, if you have this drive, which is like the base engine, right? Some people I think are just born with a huge engine, right? Like they're born in a Ferrari. Other people might be born in like a Miata, but guess what? It's like I've seen pro drivers in a Miata smoke people in McLarens on a driving course. Why? They know the course. They've trained. They know how to do it.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.